Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, distinguished guests, and folks of all stripes, put your hands together for the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. Houston, we have Paul Salazar Jr.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Space Cadet Sports Podcast, your Houston Astros podcast for diehard Astros fans from a diehard Houston Astros fan. I'm Paul Salazar Jr., your favorite diehard Astros fan podcaster. I am a long-form improviser, short-form improviser, but never a medium-form improviser. Multi-hyphenate, I'm a Houston native. Once or twice, maybe I've got taken to the front of the line at the Breakfast Club, and since then I've referred to myself as Houston royalty. I've spent the last decade or so as a comedy writer in LA, and now I'm podcasting. And welcome to said podcast. This is the Space Cadet Sports Podcast that was born of my Substack, Space Cadet Sports blog. This is what my brother calls the Paul Broadpot Ball blog. I started Space Cadet Sports with a new and refreshing perspective of actually liking the Houston Astros and being a fan of them. The media always tends to be negative or doom and gloom. Because let's be honest, folks, the big sports media companies operate out of LA and New York, and those places and fan bases hate your Houston Astros. Plus, clickbait works for writers to make money. So, here we try not to be reactionary for the sake of being reactionary. I will make some jokes and show some passion at time for sure, but we're not here peddling hate, fear, or anger. We try to be reasonable here. Try being the key word, though. This is a Space Cadet Sports Podcast, and we're recording here in sunny LA. I'm joined by my co-host and producer, the Roz to my Frasier. Carla the dog is here with me. She may get on mic from time to time. She's got hot takes on this podcast. She's got them all. Today we're happy to talk about the Astros getting a sweep against the Boston Red Sox. I know I'm very happy. Carla is also very happy as well. Longtime listeners of the podcast know that whenever the Astros hit a home run, Carla gets a nice jerky treat. Right now we have our favorites, the Paul Newman jerky treats, so she loves it whenever the Astros hit a lot of home runs, so she was very happy in this series. This team has been an offensive powerhouse lately, and it was good to see the Astros pitching do a solid job and get the run support to get the wins. Today we're going to recap the series a bit. We're going to look at some potential roster moves, and Dana Brown and sorry, I'm reading this, and I'll be honest with you, I wrote it late last night, I'm like cold reading something that I wrote here, which is pretty hilarious. But we're also going to get to Dana Brown minor league promotions, and not like, bobblehead promotions, but the promoting of minor leaguers up and down the leagues there. So let's get to the series recap here, folks. We're going to start here with Game 1. The Game 1 of the Astros-Red Sox series. The Astros ended up winning 8-4. In this game, the Astros offense finally got a chance to shine. Honestly, this series was a great reminder for fans, and I think the players alike to see who they are and what they can be when they have the power of the long ball behind them. The power of the long ball. It's been no secret that the Astros offense has been lacking in slugging, especially in comparison to years past. If you ask spoiled Astros fans, they'd tell you that this is the worst offensive team in the history of the game. I mean, it seems like the Astros fans are not very happy with the Astros' offensive performances this season. And I get it. They've been really hot or cold. But, like they're acting like the whole team is a bunch of Martin Maldonados, 1 through 9, the whole lot of them, which I make that joke. But on a quick side note, I saw, on Reddit, so, Reddit, you have to like double and triple check those sources. So, I'm just admitting that I'm reading some posts as opposed to double checking them here. So if I have to rescind this, I'm not saying it so strongly, but I saw on Reddit that in the history of the Astros, Martin Maldonado is the best power hitter from the 9 spot. And by that, they mean the last hitter on the lineup. And obviously, they're, if we're telling you how they're finding this power or how it's the best power, it's by home runs. So, they're saying how many home runs Maldonado has hit out of the 9 spot. And in the history of the Astros, he is the best home run hitter in the 9 hole. So, put some respect on his name. Of course, I admit his batting average was atrocious. I'm being ridiculous on purpose, folks. That's what we do here on the podcast. It is a comedy podcast. I will be ridiculous. But when you start looking at the number of the Astros offense, when you start looking at the numbers, is what I'm trying to say. The Astros offense has been average or above average on the whole on the season. I know it's been a little bit frustrating to see them kind of not perform like they regularly do, but we're so spoiled that we see kind of an average offense and we think it's the worst thing in the world, just because we're comparing it to Houston Astros performances of the past. But when you think about them being an average offense so far in the season, that's accounting for a lot of slumps and a lot of batting from players we weren't expecting a lot of production from. Just one second, folks. Lost my place in my notes, but yeah, we weren't expecting like a lot of extra bats coming from other places in the outfield. With Kyle Tucker being out, there's been a little bit more, I'm saying, performances from some weaker hitters, obviously some slumps from earlier in the season, so when we're accounting for all of that, it's kind of nice to see that they have been able to be an average offense so far, and they're just getting better. So I have a feeling that as long as they keep improving and playing to what we know that they can be, their offense will be looking a lot better at the end of the season. The Astros have needed a jolt in their offense, and they finally have got it. This game saw 2 homers, one from Altuve in his 15th of the year, his 15th home run of the year in the 7th, and a Yonder bomb, his 11th of the year, which happened in the 9th. The shows were still 6 for 14 with runners in scoring position, but they got 6 hits with runners in scoring position, so that's key. And they might have left 10 on base, but with only with 16 hits and but yeah, I don't understand what that stat is there. The offense was able to score and keep the pressure on the Red Sox pitchers. They were able to with 16 hits, I think is what I was trying to say there. They were able to keep the pressure on the pitchers throughout the game, with getting 6 hits with runners in scoring position. That was enough. That plus the 2 home runs. Other offensive highlights include Alex Bregman going 3 for 4 with 1 walk and 2 runs. Obviously starting to heat up at a good time here for the Astros. Jordan going 2 for 4 with a walk. Pena going 3 for 5, and Bregman, Jordan, Yanner, Singleton, Pena, and Myers all having multi-hit games in this game. So just kind of the onslaught of the Astros, picking up a lot of hits, making some difficult outs for the pitchers, and getting a couple home runs, really solidifying this game for the Houston Astros offense. Moving on to the pitching here, we're looking at Ronald Blanco, who ended up pitching 4 innings, one of his shorter outings of the season. Really started to pick up a lot of pitches in the 4th there. He gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them were earned runs. He did have an error himself, though. He gave up 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, and 0 home runs on the outing. He still has a 3.02 ERA. Blanco looked like he lost a little bit of shine out there, but he's still an incredible pitcher. I think if we can get to the 6-man rotation soon, he'll be able to make it through the season and potentially be able to be effective here for a playoff push. And after Blanco went out, we went with Brian King. The Red Sox have a lot of lefties, so we were anticipating seeing some King and some Ferguson in this series. King was able to pitch an inning, picked up strikeout, and then Caleb Ort came in. He ended up picking up the win for this game, and Ort pitched the next inning and started the previous inning, that being the started the 7th inning. The 7th inning saw, or just to give him his flowers there, did pick up 3 strikeouts in this win and started the 7th inning where the Astros went with 3 pitchers to get 3 outs. Ferguson came in to relieve Ort and immediately got us into a little bit of trouble. He ended up pitching 1/3 of an inning, and picked up one hit, one walk, and one strikeout. Taylor Scott came in to relieve Ferguson, being the third pitcher in that inning. He also picked up a walk, but he did get a strikeout to end the inning and strand the bases loaded. Ort continues to impress, obviously, alongside the rookie lefty King there. And Ferguson and Fergie there, obviously getting into some trouble with Scott. They both, all together got out of all three of them together got out of a bases loaded jam technically. But both Ferguson and Scott picked up a hold in that inning. With Hader pitching the previous 3 games, Presley was going to take the mound in the 9th, but the rain and control issues really came. The control issues that came with the rain, I'm trying to say, really hurt Presley and made the ending of the game look worse than it should have been. But Presley ended up going 1 inning pitched, gave up a run, gave an earned run, and 2 walks in a tough rain outing that really, at one point he slipped on the mound, which was really, a little scary. We don't need any injury issues. But it was good to see Press kind of finish up the game there in a tough situation. Even though he held them to a run, he gave up a run, he held them to a run, and we ended up getting out of that game before it got worse and a little rainier or messier there. Moving on to game 2, it is spaghetti time in Boston. The Astros won a close one, 5-4, and folks, Spencer Arrighetti is on fire. Arrighetti making a strong case for the 6-man rotation with another high strikeout performance, taking this one into the 7th inning and topping his career high in strikeouts that he made his previous outing, and hitting the Astros season high in strikeouts with 13 in this game. Arrighetti, the baseball nerd, is making smart look sexy with his latest outings, I should say, and he's finally showcasing lots of adjustments that he's made throughout the season. He's truly been a sacrificial lamb that has had to make his final AAA season showcase happen in the majors and has had to take some really hard licks due to the Astros really having a huge lack of starting pitching. Arrighetti is now impressing, and it's exactly what the Astros ordered. I remember before his big start in New York, after we called him up, it's maybe his third start, I want to say. I had some Yankees fans talking some trash to me, texting me saying, like, is this supposed to be your best pitching prospect, and showing me Arrighetti's ERA. It's been a tough road for Arrighetti. He's had to wear some lumps, but it's good to see him turning it around and finding some success in the majors. Let's look at his stat line here real quick. Sorry, I had to take a sip of some water there. Arrighetti's stat line in this game was 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 13 strikeouts. 1 walk and 13 strikeouts. Arrighetti was really struggling with walks early. I mean, all of the Astros were struggling with walks earlier in the season, but Arrighetti particularly, it's good to see him have this high strikeout, low walk game. He did give up 2 home runs this game, I should say. He picked up the win. He now is 5-10 on the season. But moving on ahead, Abreu, after Arrighetti went all the way to the 7th inning, Abreu picked up the 8th. He really had a bit of a rough game, but still kept the Astros in it and picked up the hold. He ended up pitching the whole 8th, getting 3 hits and 2 runs. 2 of those runs were earned and only got 1 strikeout. However, he did get out of the inning before it was too late, picking up the hold, that being his 29th hold of the season. Abreu has definitely been a little shaky at times, but the fact that the Astros keep throwing him out there, the fact that Abreu keeps finding success even when he has a tough outing sometimes, the fact that he has 29 holds on the season really shows that Abreu has really pushed past a lot of struggles, and I think really is doing pretty good on the season. Then Hader came into the 9th to break a record going, for himself after he saw Arrighetti breaking that record. He's like, why not me? He went for his 25th consecutive save in as many opportunities. So it was really good to see Hader do that. He had that ninth inning. He gave up one hit and one strikeout, picking his 25th save of the season. We have an article out on the Substack. Go check that out. It's, hating, or I think it's Haters, and there's a picture of Haterade, the Haterade logo up there. Go check out the Substack at spacecadetsports.substack.com. Let me know what you're feeling about Hader's performance on the season. I'm obviously saying that he's doing a good job, but yeah, I do admit that there's been some struggles this season. I talked to that, so maybe, let me know what you think of Hader this season. Obviously, I am looking optimistic. Moving on to the game, though, folks, looking at the offense, the Astros had just enough to get past a surging Red Sox team, and the Astros pitching pitched their butts off to suppress them. The Astros got 10 hits as a team, but only worked a measly 2 walks and struck out 9 times, somehow going 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position and leaving 7 men on base. Normally, these numbers would kill the Astros. If you're talking about the Astros of 2024 and you had me look at these numbers and not know much else, I'd be like, yeah, they lost this game. This looks like how they are when they struggle. But the secret to success in this game was the long ball, with Jordan hitting 2 home runs. He's hit 24 now on the season at this moment, 1 in the first and 1 in the sixth with a runner on base. Bregman hitting his 16th and continuing to impress at Fenway, and rookie Zach DeZenzo getting the silent treatment with his first homer of the career, and no dice for DeZenzo getting that souvenir ball back because the rookie took that out of the park. You really do love to see it. The Astros are getting some swagger. The Astros were able to give the rookie the silent treatment, give him a little ribbing as his first home run as a major league player. There were some struggles for some members of the Astros in this game, but they were picked up by the power that Jordan and Breggy love to show in Beantown. That's kind of how the Astros have been during the golden era. That's why the Astros, kind of can take on somebody like Abreu, or you think you could take somebody like that onto an offense like this that has so much power because they'll just be picked up. But with the Astros not having power like they have this season, it's made it that much harder to hide people that don't really hit the ball for power in this lineup. However, this team is really starting to turn it around now, and better late than never. Really happy to see Jordan and Breggy showcase and flex that power that they like to do when they're in Fenway, and happy that the rookie could join the party. He's kind of the Olympic meme of the 2 Olympians biting the medal and the third newbie, kind of putting it up to her mouth like, I guess this is what we do. Moving on to Game 3, the Astros win 10-2 today in the Sunday matinee, sweeping the Boston Red Sox and winning in dominating fashion. Well, the Astros' homer flex was not over as they brought their big bats with them to the Sunday matinee. Let's just jump into the offense in this 10-2 spanking and sweep of the Boston Red Sox. This is the kind of swagger this team needs, and you love to see it. The game was topped by an Alvarez and Bregman back-to-back home run. Alvarez's 25th and Bregman's 17th on the season. That back-to-back home run experience was in the 5th inning, and it's great to see. You love when these guys go back-to-back. It's great. They even did the back-to-back little pose for the camera there in the dugout. This time, the guest star of the home run power was JP3, smacking his 10th home run and jalapeno popper on the season to impress his Rhode Island pals in attendance. This team was 4-9 with runners in scoring position and left 7 on base for this game. However, the team got 13 hits and 9 RBIs and worked 4 walks. Some of the individual performances that can be highlighted in this game was Jose Altuve as a DH in this game, Mauricio Dubon starting at second. Altuve went 3 for 4. Breggy going 2 for 4 with a walk and 3 RBIs. Jordan went 2 for 2 with a walk, 1 RBI. Yana Diaz was 1 for 5, 2 RBIs. And Pena, JP3 going 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. I mean, Jordan got a lot of respect in this series. He hit a lot of home runs, but he also got walked a lot. You'd love to see it. truly in this game, kind of once again, the bottom of the lineup wasn't exactly the best or giving you the most consistency. But in this kind of game, we're not going to complain about it too loud. We are still kind of trying to figure out the rest of the bottom of the lineup right now, as there's a little bit of inconsistency happening. But as long as we're hitting long balls, we'll be okay. Hopefully more consistency and more power. If we can get some more consistent hitting and more batting from the bottom of this lineup and keep getting the power from the middle, this team can truly be unstoppable. A podcaster can dream. Right, folks? In this game, let's move to the pitching. Diesel started this game and continues to look like a completely different pitcher than the one who was struggling earlier this season. Hunter Brown went 5.5 and 1/3 innings pitched with 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 9 strikeouts on the day. Slightly tougher outing because of the end of his day, but he looked sharp. He looked sharp and dominant, and he's looking very competitive. The guy looks like he's out there to mow people down. After Brown in that 6th inning, Ferg came in to end the inning and pick up the next, ending up pitching 1 2/3 of an inning with only 1 hit. Happy to see him contribute. With all of the Boston lefties, it seems like, we traded for Ferguson just for this series, just for, stopping some of these left-handed bats that seem not only non-stoppable in the sense that they are hitting a lot, but it just seems like they have non-stop left-hand batter after left-hand batter. After Ferguson left, left-hand rookie Brian King came in and pitched the 8th and picked up 2 strikes. Brian King is really looking good. He keeps pouring the strikes into the zone, and you love to see that kind of confidence from a rookie, and he's been very effective. Sean Dubin grabbed the mop again and pitched the 9th inning, grabbing 2 strikeouts. Sean Dubin, ever since Brandon Bielak had been DFA'd, Sean Dubin has really been the mop-up guy and has done pretty good in that role. A dominant sweep from the pitching staff, and to be honest, this team, the Red Sox, can really hit. So it seems like the Red Sox just generated a new crew of players that can hit, and we were able to go out there. The Astros, I should say, the Astros were able to go out there and outpitch them. And while the Red Sox pen might be a little suspect, the Astros were able to go out and get a solid offensive performance night after night or morning and get those slugging numbers back to where they should be to dominate. But that being said, please come back soon, Tucker. We do not want to play these games. We're going to go ahead and move on from the series recap onto some other news, where the biggest one being the Justin Verlander rehab / upcoming roster move. Justin Verlander was able to have a successful rehab start in the minors for AAA Sugarland. He pitched 3 innings, did fairly well, but the word on the street is that he's really doing pretty good and is expected to make another minor league rehab start before joining the team. There's always a potential of some news dropping that changes that, but right now we're being hopeful. That's what they're saying. That sounds like they're not slowing things down. With Verlander hopefully joining the team soon, the Astros have mentioned that they're hoping to start a 6-man rotation. Obviously, this would be a solve for Blanco, who has been a little troublesome at moments with the high workload that he's had this season. A 6-man rotation seems like the path to the playoffs for the Astros. So I hope everything goes smoothly here for this rehab, because we need that 6-man rotation to help get this team to a playoff push. But with that move, which bullpen arm is going to be sacrificed? Seth Magic Man Martinez was the last sacrificial lamb, a great contributor on the season that has had a huge inning count that needed some rest, and I hope can come back and contribute soon, but is, been in AAA. Who's going to go down? Is it, the back end of the bullpen mop, Dubin, or long relief arm Dubin there? Maybe it is Caleb Ort, who has been with the team very shortly, but has really seemed to pitch very well. Brian King, perhaps, rookie lefty, who it doesn't seem like we are depending on for that many innings, but has really impressed and has been part of this team just because he keeps pitching well and throwing strikes. Or maybe it's a vet like Ferguson. Maybe Caleb Ferguson was just a lefty arm that we felt like we needed for the Boston series. But if we have to choose between King and Ferguson, I'm going King out of the 2, but I don't know what I know King probably has a couple minor league options, and Ferguson probably does not, so that's another thing to take into account. I honestly think that it's either going to be Sean Dubin or King, and they keep the vets, as in Caleb Ort and Caleb Ferguson. But I really don't know how the roster will shake out. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'd like to know what you think here. I feel like I've done pretty good at calling some of these roster moves, but this one does look difficult. I really am not sure what the move is going to be here to keep the six-man rotation intact when Verlander gets here. Because he maybe, I don't know. I think it's Dubin, but I just don't know. That's just where I'm leaning right now if I had to guess, but that doesn't mean that's what I want. That's just me guessing what they would go for. Honestly, it seems like Caleb Ferguson is the expendable arm, but they just traded for him, so that would seem that would really seem like wearing an L that Dana Brown would not want to wear, especially with everybody always coming at him in social media. Another little, note on the bullpen and arms coming back is Graveman. Kendall Graveman is throwing from the mound. He threw from the mound in Boston, and there are murmurs of him being able to potentially join the team late this year. I think those murmurs are mostly from Kendall Graveman, but I'm thinking, maybe this isn't just wishful thinking, but then again, maybe it is wishful thinking. I'm a little hopeful. It'd be great to have effective bullpen arms, but we'll just have to see how quickly he rehabs to really see if he can be depended on. We also have Penn Murphy that potentially could come back, but until we hear more news, we really cannot depend on them. We just have to hope. That being said, let's go kind of move on to Dana Brown minor league call-ups. Bryce Matthews, the Houston Astros first round draft pick last year, is now with Double-A Corpus Christi, and this is coming off the Zach DeZenzo promotion. Zach DeZenzo famously has played 22 games at Double-A this year before being promoted to Triple-A, where Zach played 11 games before being promoted to the major league. The Houston Chronicle mentioned it, that Dana Brown, kind of aggressively promotes some of his prospects. This season, Jake Bloss was fast-tracked to the majors and showcased well enough to be the key piece in a trade for a starting pitcher. The Houston Chronicles obviously has echoed some online voices, what some online voices have pondered. Why is Dana Brown fast-tracking prospects in the minors? And I think, and you should definitely go check out that Houston Chronicle article, but I think it's a twofold answer of Dana Brown not having a traditionally strong farm system, and Dana Brown running into some huge injury problems with the Astros. The Houston Astros farm system is great and is really amazing at helping produce and promote good talent from prospects that tend to be overlooked from most teams. But when you are dealing with as many injuries as the Astros have had to deal with this season, a project player is really not too helpful in the immediate moment. I'm sure there are players in the system now that will come out of nowhere, seemingly, to help the team in a season or so. But really, they didn't come out of nowhere. They've just been putting in the work for a while. GM Dana Brown has needed answers to fill those holes in his roster this season and knew that the Astros would need to buy some players at the deadline. I believe Bloss and Lil Perfido were the hot ones in the offseason and in the minors, so Brown wanted them to taste the majors while they were so hot and generate some interest from teams. Maybe, perhaps, I'm giving him too much credit and creating a bit of a narrative, but that's exactly what it looks like to me. It looks like he even sold the Astros fans on these prospects because we were so sad to see them go and we didn't want to see them go. But we also needed a first baseman that can bring some life to the bottom of the lineup. Enter Zach DeZenzo, who is secretly also auditioning for a third base spot next year. While some prospects in the minors are still being coached up, the hot prospects are getting strapped to rockets to see if they can ball. Because Dana Brown is bullish on his ability to draft more prospects, so he's leveraging the farm to keep the Astros in contention with the hopes of being able to fully reload in the next draft. With the Astros' ability to coach up unwanted prospects and the ability to reload quickly, Brown is playing a high-stakes game with the system. But I feel that it's the right move, as long as Brown can keep his drafting promises. And let's go ahead and look ahead to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays series here that starts tomorrow for the Astros. No rest for the weary. The Astros are going with Valdez, Kikuchi, and Blanco before a much-needed off day. And the Rays are going to send up, in order, right-handed pitcher Taj Bradley, who's 6-6. He's got a low whip of 1.09 and a nice ERA of 3.07. Then next will be right-handed pitcher Shane Baz, Houston native and a young guy who did decent against us, but maybe now that the Astros have seen him, they can tag him a little bit easier. And then in the third game, right-handed pitcher Zach Littell, who's 5-8 with a 4.11 ERA with a high amount of strikeouts still, 113 strikeouts on the season with a 1.35 whip. So that's who the Astros are going to see in Tampa. We'll see how the Astros do. We need a series win, but hey, why not a sweep, right? As of the recording of this podcast, the Astros are 62-55 and a half game up on the Mariners in the division. You know, it feels good to be an Astros fan today, y'all. Thanks for listening to this podcast. I really do appreciate it so much, fam. Please give me a like wherever you are listening to this on and smash that subscribe button and rate and review me with one of those sweet 5-star reviews. Also, share with those H-Town hustlers out there that need some good Astros goodness in their ears. Share this podcast, fam. And if you would be so kind, come check out the Substack at spacecadetsports.substack.com, where you can put your email ID down on the list to get every article, meme dump, podcast, and video podcast emailed directly to you, so you get all your Astros fix all season, and it's free. I mean, look, you can support me if you want. Please do. But I try to keep most things available for free. So if you're like me and you like things free, but also if you're like me and are always on the phone and you're not really like the email list guy, get the app. Download the Substack app. Subscribe to the Space Cadet Sports little logo there. Click that you want notifications instead of emails, and boom, you get it all on your phone or iPad now, easy. So go check it out at spacecadetsports.substack.com. If you want to hit me up on social media, follow me at Paul Salazar JR on all social media, or at least all the cool ones. Thanks so much for listening and all of the love. Keep your heads up, kids. And as always, vamos Astros.